Hi guys, so in this video what I want to show is how to work with plugins. Again, for WordPress I like to have two tabs open. One is for the website and the other one's for the back end, or what WordPress calls the dashboard. Anytime you want to access the back end, it's your URL plus wp-login.php, and it'll give you a chance to log in. Okay, so here we go. Here is the back end, here's the front end. This section, again, this is a very important menu over here. You have plugins. So I'm going to just click on plugins. By default, WordPress has two plugins. One is Hello Dolly. You can delete that right away. Basically, this just gives Hello Dolly quotes. It's been on part of WordPress since the beginning. And then there's a spam filter that comes with it. If I'm just deleting Hello Dolly here, if you have problems with spam on your WordPress website, then you can start using this. So what plugins are modules that enhance the functionality of WordPress. So some modules that you might use are spam filters. There are contact forms. There are galleries. There are search engine optimization modules. If you have a commerce site, you have things like WooCommerce that deal with commerce and credit card transactions and commerce websites. So there's many different plugins for WordPress. There's thousands and thousands. With some plugins that you might want to deal with, for example, one of my favorites. A lot of themes have comments with them. And if you don't have a blog, then you don't need comments. So there's some good plugins here. Here's no comments, and I'll just use this to show how to install a plugin. So here I just typed in a keyword, and here's all the filters that deal with no comments. And as you can see, there's many of them. When you're looking at a new plugin that you've never used before, there are star ratings, and there's also, you can see how many active installs there are. You can also go to more details and just see some documentation about what each of these plugins do. So I'm going to use this one just called Disabled Comments here. It's 5 stars, 191 comments, and almost 1 million active installs here. And I'm just going to go to Install Now. And if you click on this button, Install, it will install it. Then the second thing you have to do in order to show up in WordPress is Activate. Okay? So I'm just clicking on Activate, and it's activated. So as you can see down here, I have a tool called Disabled Comments. If I go to the settings, you can choose how you want to disable comments. I'm not making a blog here, so I'm just going to click everywhere. But this one, you can choose whether post, pages, or media. And anytime you update a plugin, you always have to save the changes. A lot of times when you add plugins, they are added onto the side menu area. It's not always consistent where they're added. For example, this disabled comments here is in the settings menu, and it automatically put it at the bottom here. But now that I enabled the disabled comments, there's no way for people to comment on your website, and if it's not a blog, that's good. So other plugins that may be of interest is, for example, there are gallery type plugins for here. You always have to go to Add New, by the way. The search box down there deals with plugins that you already installed. So if I type in Lightbox here, there are many different Lightbox plugins that you can use. Lightbox, what it is a slideshow feature that you can add. So if you have images that you want to swipe back and forth, I can show you the original Lightbox, by the way. This is the original Lightbox here. So what Lightbox pretty much does is if you want to pop up images or videos or make a gallery of this this aesthetic, for example, for image set here, Lightbox is good for that. So here's an example. This is not WordPress here, but WordPress has Lightbox plugins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look through all the different Lightboxes. And a lot of times with plugins, if you don't know what plugin you want, you might want to sample a bunch of them and just see which one it works the best for you. Some plugins work great for some applications, other ones don't work as well. So I'll just go simple Lightbox here, and I'll just go install now. And then again, I have to activate. And now here it says simple Lightbox here. A lot of times you should look at the documentation before you start using it. Each plugin has different settings, and a lot of times they look completely different. So there's a lot of times there's not many consistencies between different plugins. Here I'm just going to go settings just to see what the settings are here. And here's activation. So you can choose on what pages or what areas you can activate. And it looks like there's many different settings here. And instead of putting the tool as the plugin as disabled comments in the settings section, this one puts it in the appearance. Let's see how we can use it now. So I'm just going to go to pages. Maybe I'll just go to about page for now. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add an image and make this into a Lightbox. So anytime you add an image again, I'm just going to go to add media, and maybe I can click on this flower again. And what's important here is you want this to link to a media file. A lot of the themes have by default linked to none. You just want to make this a clickable link, so you just want to change this box down here to link to media file. And then down here at the very bottom, you can choose the size if you want to. So if you want a thumbnail or full size, you can choose those. And then just click insert into page. And there we go. There's my flower. I'm just going to update this page. Anytime you want to save what you've done, you have to do update. And make sure you press update a lot just to make sure you don't do all this work and then you forget to save. And then I'm just going to go back to the main page here, and I'm just going to reload. And there's my image. And as you can see, the top image, since it had no link to it, this is not a clickable link, but this bottom one is. So if I click on it, boom, there is your Lightbox. So, and as you can see, here's my close button here. If I want to close it, I'll open it again, and then at the bottom here, this is the actual name of the file, and this is the link. So we can go actually into the media and change those so this appears correctly here. So what I'm going to do is I am going back to the dashboard here. I'm going to media, and then I'm going to click on the flower that I used, and I'm going to just change the title of this. I'll just call this purple flower, and I can add a caption. This is my photo of a flower. And then I can add a description of taken from Google Images. So those are just fillers, but you can put whatever you want there. You should also put alt text just in case the image doesn't load. So I'm just going to put flower. This part won't actually show up on the website unless the image doesn't load. All right, and then I am going to close this. Just make sure it saved it. Okay, so now I can go to my main page again, and if I click on this link, as you can see at the bottom, this is my flower taken from Google Images. So that's how you control what's at the bottom. You can have no text there if you don't want anything in there. You just take it out of the media area that I showed before. I can show it again, but these don't actually have to be filled out. So if you want no text there, you can keep that blank. So that is an example of Lightbox. If I go back to the plugins again, and I can go to, I'll just go to Add New here. There's other Lightbox plugins that you might want to look at. So let's just go by keyword. So for example, here's a video Lightbox if you want to deal specifically with videos. This one is Lightbox. I believe this is the original one. It doesn't have as many active installs, but you can always install something and preview. Let's say the look of the simple Lightbox is not exactly what you want. You can always activate a bunch of Lightboxes and explore different ones if you want to. And the cool part here is if you want to deactivate but leave your plugin there, you can always go deactivate. So for example, I can always click deactivate, and then WordPress is not using that plugin at that point. I don't have to install it again. If I want to activate it again, I just click on it. So, and then another thing that you can do is after you deactivate it, by the way, if you want to delete something, you have to deactivate it first. You can always click the delete and it disappears. Okay. And there we go, it's gone. Other plugins that may be useful, contact forms. Let's say you want a contact me page that goes to your email. Again, I need to go to add new here. And I'll just go contact form. And I suggest contact form 7. This is by far the best one I've worked with. So I'm just going to install this now. And there we go. I'm going to activate it. And sometimes it takes a while for some of these to activate. And here, contact form, if you want to view details of any of these, you can always go to view details here, and it'll give you documentation of it. Most of the time, you probably want to look at the documentation to figure out how to use the plugins, since they're not consistent. And sometimes it requires a WordPress version something or higher. Some plugins aren't updated all the time, so sometimes you might want to, especially if it doesn't work how it's expected, you might want to look at if it requires your version or higher. Right now, what version do we have here? If I go to dashboard, it looks like I'm 4.7.0 right there. Okay, so let's just take a look at this contact form plugin here, just to see what this does. And I'll go to Settings, and you can make multiple contact forms. And this is a good example of a WordPress plugin that uses a shortcode. So a shortcode, what you can do is you can just copy and paste this and put it right into your website, and it'll read this plugin. And I'll show that. I'm just gonna edit this contact form really quickly. So here, as you can see, this looks a lot like HTML because it is HTML for the most part. Here you have your name, your email, the subject, and your message. Let's just say you want, you want to change this to full name. And this can read HTML, so if you want this to be a header, you can put header tags around this. If you want to change this to email address, or you can do that. Subject. Let's say you want to take out one of these. You can just delete one of these, and it's just fine. I will undo that. But if you want to delete one of these sections, you can. I'm just going to save this really quickly. The cool part about this form here, let's say I want the user's phone number, or the person to fill out their phone number. So I can just go maybe telephone here, and I can choose if it's a required field or not. And then I'll just add insert tag. There we go. And I can just copy this label from the previous one. You just copy the format of the other one. So here's label subject telephone, and then I need to close out this label tag. So other things that a contact form can deal with is email, and you can change if these are required or not. A number, date. You can have checkboxes if you have like a survey, or radio buttons if there's a survey. It also, like if you want to do quizzes, here's a quiz thing that you can do it. Maybe I can show this. Let's see. So here's quiz. You can change the name of this, and here's your questions and answers. I can say, what is your email password, maybe? Okay, and then insert tag. There we go. And so you can do a lot of things like that. And then there's CAPTCHA, in case you have spam again. And then files, if you want somebody to submit like image files or something, you can do that here. And then you always have to have a submit button, and this is your submit button at the very end. So what I'm going to do is just save this here. Okay, and then let's just look at mail. This is the email address, so you can put your email address here. It'll automatically send it to your email address, and then you can control exactly how the email will look. So anytime I get an email from this contact form, it'll say WordPress site, and then whatever subject that they typed in, and then it'll add your email for the reply. That's the email of the person that's submitting the form, and then you can control what in the message body looks for your own convenience. The user doesn't see this, just you see the email because it's coming into your email box. Here's messages. You can control what the message says after they send it. If it's sent successfully, by default it says thank you for your message, it has been sent. You can change these lines of text if you want, and this is super convenient. And there's different ones. Let's say it failed to send for some reason, it'll send a message, and there's all these different scenarios that you can control what the message says. For example, down here, your telephone number is invalid. Let's say someone's just key mashing and put in a telephone number. The contact form will recognize it's an invalid telephone number. That's a really good thing about the contact form, because it does recognize if things are valid or invalid. So it's looking for a ampersand or @ sign when you're typing an email, so it knows that it's a false email address. So here we go. So you can control all these, and then you get additional settings here. And if you want to add additional settings, just look at the documentation. So here, as you can see, this is shortcode, and a lot of plugins have shortcode, and I'm talking about this blue box up here. So if I want to put this contact form into my website, I just copy and paste this. So I'm just going to copy this here. Contact form 7. I'll just physically copy it like that. And then I can go to my pages. Oops, I need to save it first, just to make sure everything's saved. Good. And I'm going to just go to pages here. And I am going to go to my contact page. And all I have to do, and so it's better to type this in with the text, but it will work in the visual too. I like making sure it's code. So I'm typing that in. It says contact form 7, and this is the information it needs to read that contact form. So if I go to update here, it's updated. And then if I go to back to my main page and go to the contact section, here is my contact form. And this, you can control what this looks like in CSS. I'm going to show this later. But now here, I'm going to just go Brian. I can do an email address at .com. I can do a subject. You know, oh, there's 2 subjects here, apparently. I got to look at that. And then a message. So I can go send here. And oh, this is a telephone number, so I need to change that. So as you can see, it did recognize that this is a telephone number. So I can type that in, and it's sending it. Okay. And if I went to my email, that would have gone through. It's always very good to check your email just to make sure it's working. Okay, so the next thing, what I see, I have a little error here where I have subject. I'm going to just go back to my contact form, and as you can see, this is where the contact form is. So one plugin went into the appearance section, the other plugin went into the settings section. This contact form appears here. It's sometimes it's annoying that it goes to different areas, but here we go. I'm just going to go to my contact form, and I'm going to click on this just to see what's going on. And here, yes, I need to change this to phone number, and that will correct that area. So I'll go save, and if I go back here and reload, there's the phone number. Okay. The cool part about these contact forms is you can put multiple ones in. So if you're doing surveys and you have different surveys or things like that, you can always add a new one here if you want to, and all you have to do is go to add new, and automatically adding new here. So I could do something like a survey, right? So there's my survey, and then I could go name email, and then let's say I have like a bunch of checkboxes here. So checkbox, and then options. I can go, let's go apples, oranges, bananas, pineapples. Okay. And then I'll go insert tag. And then here I can go label again. And I won't forget it this time. So I'm going to go, what is your favorite fruit? And then I'm going to indent this. This doesn't need to be indented, but I like doing that. and then I'll just close this label at the very end. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. Okay, and here is the short code for my survey here. So I can put this, I'll put this on a different page. So let's put it, I don't really have any good pages, maybe I'll just put in my about page for now. And I'll put it right after my welcome to my website and update it. Now if I go to my website, go to my about page, here's my, after welcome my website, here's my name, my email, and I can choose my favorite fruit, you know. So, so this is basically how you can use contact forms, and you can have many of them on your website. So this is an example of another plugin, and again, these shortcodes are very common with plugins. A lot of galleries have them, a lot of other things have them. Other plugins that I like to use, I have disabled comments. One that I really like to use, and I'll get to this in the next video, is lines of code. So I'm just going to go add new here. I can't think of the name right now. Code, maybe editor. Advanced Code Editor. This is a very great plugin. I won't install this now, but Advanced Code Editor I'll show when I show how to edit the CSS. Another one is you got SEO stuff. So search engine optimization, all-in-one SEO pack. That's another useful plugin. What SEO does is allows your website to rank high on search engines by adding metadata. So I'll talk about that sometime. So there's another plugin. But there's other ones. You got things like Twitter. Oops, I'll go to add new. So if you want to add Twitter, and custom Twitter feeds. Twitter actually has their own official Twitter plugin. As you can see, it's not well rated, as well rated as other plugins here. A custom Twitter feed looks like it's a lot better. But if you want to install Twitter, I'm going to just install the one that comes right from the actual company. And there's plugins for Facebook and Instagram and all this other stuff if you want to add those. So as you can see down here, I got Twitter. And if you want to view the details, again, this will show you how to add things here. I'll just shut this. And as you can see, Twitter shows up down at the bottom underneath the settings. So you can change the theme. Here's your Twitter account. So let's just go, I don't know, at I don't know, let's just see if there's one called Buffalo. Save changes. And then how do you add this to your website here? So let's go to all pages just to see. Let's go about. So here's your SEO thing. Here's your tweet things. So Twitter has a custom section here at the bottom. So so here's a custom Twitter links. I'm not really going to go into Twitter. If you want to figure it out, you can go and just look at the documentation for this plugin, and you can do that here with if you install it, you can just look at the documentation down here with view details. Okay, so here's another plugin. So there's many different plugins that does many different things. So maybe I can leave it here, but yeah, look at plugins. They're very useful. So, and I'll just go to popular just to show some other things here. Looks like contact form is very popular. A lot of SEO things are popular. WooCommerce here is for commerce websites. If you're selling things, you want to have products with gallery that has a credit card interface and all that. Google XML sitemap if you want a sitemap. Looks like limit login attempts. If you have users using your website, you can block them if they log in so many times incorrectly. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here. Here's a gallery that's really popular, Next Gen Gallery. Here's a disables comments. So there's a lot of different things here, and it looks like there's 40,688 popular plugins in this list. So I'm going to leave this here. Next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how to edit CSS and appearance, and I'll leave it right there. Take care. Bye.